Hi everyone, welcome to Gentle and Grounded. Let's move through a nice, gentle practice, linking our breath and finding some peace in our minds and peace in our hearts. So beginning on your back, lay back and take your knees wide, press the bottoms of your feet together. And I ask that you take one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Close your eyes. Relax your face, relax your shoulders. Just gently settle into your mat. Take an inhale through your nose. Let's open the mouth and exhale out of the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Now close your mouth and continue your breath through the nose. Inhales and exhales. With every inhale, your belly rises. So you feel your belly rise as your hand moves up and down. You exhale, you press your belly button toward your spine, letting go of any stale air at the bottom of your lungs. Let's do this again, continuously. Some diaphragmatic breaths here. So it's a little bit more intentional. You're really noticing as you inhale, your belly puffing up, rising, and then take that inhale right into your chest, right into your lungs. Fill up your lungs with air, and then gently let go of that air from the lungs first and then out of your belly. Again, inhale into the belly, into your lungs, then out of your belly and out of your lungs on your exhale. Up and down, nice deep diaphragmatic breaths. Continue this for a few more rounds. And then you have one hand on your heart. So think about one person or one thing that you're most grateful for today. Maybe it's a sibling, a spouse, a child. Maybe it's your health, your home. Just that one thing that you can send a little message of love to. Someone that brings you joy, that you are thankful for. Now, as we begin to move a little bit, remember the inhales and the exhales are the most important thing. No matter what you're doing in your practice, always know you can come back to your breath. So let's take the knees and bring them up. So you keep your feet flat on the mat with knees bent. Hands are at your side, moving into bridge pose. On your next inhale, gently lift your tailbone off of the mat. Let your pelvis rise up toward the ceiling. And hold in bridge. Draw your chin away from your chest. Your tailbone moves toward your heels. And stay here. You can find a bind if you'd like by walking your shoulder blades toward each other, interlacing your fingers at your low back. Just to deepen the chest opener, the heart opener a little bit more. Keep breathing. Inhales and exhales. If you have that bind, slowly unlace your fingers, walk your shoulder blades out, and lower down to the mat. Your knees are still bent. Look forward and take your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Draw your knee, where it's half happy baby here. So we're going to bend your right knee and draw it toward the floor as you bend your elbow and knee on your right side. So you can bring a little movement to this half happy baby by moving your right leg, your femur, in that hip socket, or you can just hold still and stay static here, enjoying the good stretch into your low back and your hip. Half happy baby. Relax your shoulders and your head on the mat. And then take the right foot and place it on your left knee. Your right knee moves out to the side. So figure 4, left leg is bent, left foot's on the mat. So take your hands behind your left thigh and draw your foot off of the mat. Figure 4, nice hip stretch. Make sure you relax your shoulders and head back on the mat and stay here. Breathe in and out. So here we're stretching, opening up the hips. You should feel a nice stretch in your right hip. Your also maybe your left outer hip as well. You can control how deep you move into this stretch. On your next inhale, let's move into a spinal twist. So lengthen your left leg and just twist over to the left side. Drop the right knee over to the left. Extend your arms out to a T. And look over your right shoulder. Keep breathing. If your right shoulder wants to pop off of your mat, draw it back down. Both shoulders should be on the mat as you feel a good stretch in your low back area. Slowly draw that knee back over, and let's do everything on the other side. So your right leg is extended, your left knee bends, your left hand takes the outside of your left foot. Take that knee toward the mat, toward the floor really, and you're coming into half happy baby. So an opening in your left hip, moving your leg around in the hip socket, just warming up that area before we move through some standing poses to strengthen. Then take your left foot, put it on your right knee. Right leg is bent, coming into figure 4. So hands come behind your right thigh. Draw your right foot off of the mat in toward your belly. Relax your shoulders and head on the mat. Figure 4. Nice stretch here. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Move a little deeper into the stretch. Take your right foot back down to the mat. Let your left knee just fall over to the right side for a spinal twist. Arms move out to a T. Look over your left shoulder. Spinal twist. Just like you're waking up in the morning. Sometimes we could do this right in bed as we're gently waking our bodies up. If at any time as we begin to move a little deeper into our practice in this gentle class, you need to sit back and take a more restorative pose. Laying down on your mat is one option. You can always come back. Let's take the left knee back over to center. Bend your knees again, feet flat on the mat. Take your hands to your sides. This time bend the elbows and soldier arms. So you're bending the elbows and pressing into your triceps. As we move up into one more bridge, press into feet and triceps. Draw your hips and pelvis off of the mat, lengthening your tailbone toward your heels into a bridge pose. Now we'll slowly roll down and then link our movement with our breath. So on your next exhale, lower back down to the mat. As you inhale, press up again into bridge. And then as you exhale, lower down. Let's move through this a few more times, linking our breath with movement. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower down. You're slowly peeling your spine off of the mat, starting with your tailbone, then exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Take your knees into your belly. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe you roll from side to side. Massage your low back. Nice. And then start rolling from tailbone to crown of head. So back and forth in the opposite direction. And then slowly come up to seated. Just a nice easy pose. And when you're seated, take your hands out in front of you and just move your wrists in some circles here. You might feel some clicks and pops. We use our hands and our thumbs on our phones a lot, things like that. So let's just stretch out the tendons in your wrists. A good idea. So just some circles with your hands. And then take your hands to your knees. As you inhale, draw your shoulders up toward your ears. And then exhale, lower your shoulders down. Shoulder rolls. Inhale, take the shoulders up toward your ears. Exhale, roll them down. One more time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower the shoulders down. Reverse your direction. So again, shoulders move up toward your ears. Now roll the shoulders down the front of your body. Inhale again, up toward the ears. And exhale, roll them down. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Relax your shoulders. Let's take our heads into some nice circles. So doesn't matter which direction you go. Maybe counterclockwise first. Chin to chest. Left ear toward your left shoulder. Look back. Right ear to right shoulder. And then chin to chest. Then just reverse the direction. Move in the other direction. Work out any tension in your shoulders, in your neck, even in your jaw. As you open your mouth a little bit, move your jaw from side to side. Nice. Let's move into tabletop pose. So hands and knees come down to the mat. Hands are directly underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Moving into cow and cat. As you inhale, look forward, drop your belly, come into cow. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, tailbone toward your heels, and press your back up to the ceiling. Inhale back to cow, look forward, lengthen your neck. Exhale back to cat. Pressing your hands and knees into the mat, find length. Inhale back to cow and exhale to cat. So just allow yourself to close your eyes here and continue this movement. You're linking your breath with that movement. When you close your eyes, you just hear your breath, dialing into the breath, and then noticing the movement. Nice and slow inhales and exhales. Move through this for 3 more rounds of breath. Nice. Keep it going. Inhale and exhale. And feel free to play here. So maybe your head moves from side to side. You look over your shoulders. You wag your tail a little bit by moving your hips from side to side. Whatever your body is asking for. Just play a little bit as well. Nice. Let's move into a spinal balance. So from tabletop pose, engage your belly. Move your belly button toward your spine. Find that strength and that energy there, and then take your right foot and reach it back. You're extending the right leg back. It's about hip height, so it's like you want to step on the back wall. You're flexing your foot and lifting the foot off of the mat. Now still engage your belly. Take your left arm and reach it forward. So your left palm is facing the midline, thumb is facing up. Look down at your mat so your neck is nice and long. Spinal balance. And stay. Remember your breath. Inhale and exhale. Take your hand down to the mat, your left arm, but extend that right leg back still. On your inhale, press it back. On your exhale, bend the knee, chin to chest like a cat. Bring that knee forward. Inhale, press the leg back. And exhale, bring it forward again. Let's move through that 3 more times. Inhale, press the foot back. Exhale, chin to chest, arch your back, bring the knee forward, chin to chest. Inhale, press back. Exhale, bring it forward. 1 more time. Inhale back. And exhale, bring it forward. Take the knee down to the mat. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So you lift your left leg back. Balancing that leg back, it's hip height and the foot is flexed. Toes move toward the mat. Find your balance here by engaging your belly. Find that strength and then take your right hand arm, reach it forward like you're shaking someone's hand in front of you. Your thumb is facing up and stay here. So to protect your neck, look down at your mat or to the top of your mat so the back of your neck is nice and long. Inhales and exhales. Nice work. Take your hand down, Lift that left leg back. Inhale, press it back. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, lengthen it back nice and slow. Exhale, chin to chest. Bring the knee forward. Arch your back. Inhale, press back. Exhale, bring it forward. 2 more times here. Linking our breath with the movement. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, press it forward. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, bend the knee. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take that knee down. Nice, everyone. Let's walk our hands, 1 hand print forward, setting up for downward facing dog. So the hands walk, 1 hand print forward. I want you to come up onto your toes or the balls of your feet. Hover your knees above the mat and then slowly lengthen your legs out, drawing your hips back for downward facing dog. So you've got a nice long line from your hips down to your heels and from your hips down to your fingertips. Stay here. Now, we're just warming up. Maybe walk your dog a little bit. Pedal your feet. Move your hips from side to side. Whatever feels best for you. Back and forth a little bit. It's okay to have a little bend in your knees. Keep engaging your belly. And then take your right leg and reach it back to 3-legged dog. From 3-legged dog, I want you to just bend your knee and open up the front of your hip. It's like a little yawn for your right hip. Moving the hip out to the side, maybe bending the knee, moving it a little bit in that area in your hip joint, just like we did on the floor with our half happy baby. Then take the right leg down to the mat. Let's do the same on the other side. So left leg reaches back to 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up the front of your hip. Move it around in the hip joint a little bit. And then take the foot back down to the mat. Let's reach the right leg up again for 3-legged dog. Reach the leg back. Then bring your knee forward. Try to touch your right elbow with your knee or bring it toward that area. Reach it back on your inhale, 3-legged dog. Then take the foot forward between your hands. Take your left knee down to the mat. Modified crescent pose. Setting up, right knee is bent, left knee is on the mat. Reach your arms over your head. Fingertips moving toward the ceiling. Let your shoulders relax down your back. And stay here. Take 3 full rounds of breath. Draw your heart forward and maybe your gaze is up toward the ceiling as you come into a little bit of a back bend here. Inhale and exhale. Then move into a gentle twist. Your arms are moved to a T. You twist to the right. So you're looking over to the right side or over your right shoulder. Hands are extending from the front of the room to the back. Move out of your twist. Come back to your modified crescent pose. Then bend your elbows, touchdown arms. Move a little deeper into a back bend. So you look up toward the ceiling. Let your right knee bend and the left hip's pressing forward. A little good stretch in the hip flexor. Draw your heart to the ceiling and look up. Find your balance and your strength. Now take both hands inside of your front foot. Coming into a little fold here. So you can keep hands on the mat inside of your right foot, or you can come down to your forearms. If you have a pillow or a block at home, you could set your forearms or elbows down on that block. So this is called box pose. You're folding inside of your right knee, and you're keeping that right knee close to your right shoulder. So the knee wants to maybe move out to the side. You're going to keep your knee close to the shoulder for a deep stretch into your right hip. Inhale, exhale, fold a little deeper into this fold. Then plant your hands and move right back to tabletop pose. Hands and knees on the mat. Then walk your hands, one hand print forward, setting up for downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg reaches back for 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, take it toward your left elbow. And then inhale, press it back again. As you exhale this time, take the left foot in between your hands and drop your right knee to the mat. Modified crescent pose on the left side. Draw your arms over your head so you're reaching your arms up. Nice, long, active arms, but relax your shoulders down your back. Draw your heart forward. Nice, strong pose. Move into a twist. Arms move to a T, twisting to the left. Look over to the left or over your left shoulder. Keep finding your balance. Then come back to your modified crescent pose. We'll bend the elbows, take them into touchdown arms. Reach your heart forward, look up toward the ceiling. If you want to play here a little more, you can close your eyes and find a little bit more balance, a little bit more of an edge. Then we'll look down inside of the front foot, the left foot. Hands come to the floor. You can use a block if needed, but you're going to fold just inside of that left foot. The left knee moves toward your left shoulder. Maybe your forearms come down to the mat. Just deepen this box pose, which is it is a fold, but it's like you're kind of a compact fold here. When you're ready, take hands to the mat, step the left foot back to tabletop pose. Take your knees wide. We'll sit back in a child's pose. Knees go wide, hips move toward your heels. Rest your forehead on the mat. Just sink in for a little bit here. Maybe you move your hips from side to side, or maybe you find some stillness. As you do, take some nice deep breaths into your back body. So that space between your shoulder blades, we hold a lot of tension there. Imagine as you inhale, you're taking in breath in that space. As you exhale, you're relaxing, taking the tension out of that space. Just take a few more breaths in your child's pose. When you're ready, take your hands to the mat. Tuck your toes and press back to downward facing dog. Lengthen back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, take your right leg, reach it back to three-legged dog. Look forward, step your right foot between your hands, moving into high crescent pose this time. So set up your feet first. Nice wide legs. You're bending your right knee. The back toes are pressing into the mat. Back heel, left heel is off of the mat. Once you find your balance in your legs with that nice wide stance, draw your arms over your head, reaching up as we did in our modified crescent. Fingertips reaching for the sky, shoulders moving down your back. A little back bend as you reach your heart forward. From here, we'll move into a twist again, twisting to the right. Arms move to a T. Look to the right or over your right shoulder. Keep pressing your left toes into the mat. Nice, strong back leg. Lifting the kneecap toward the ceiling. On your next inhale, come back to high crescent. Look down to the front foot. Take your hands on either side, runner's lunge. So hands stay on either side of the front foot. If you have blocks, you can take your hands to blocks, or you can come up on your fingertips. Just find some length so you can reach your head toward the front of the room. Reach your head forward and your right hip moves gently back, squaring the hips. Let's twist in runner's lunge. So take your right hand off of the mat, left hand stays, and twist to the right. So reaching your right hand up toward the ceiling, finding a nice straight line from your right fingertips all the way down to your left hand on the mat. From runner's lunge, twist, we're bringing the right hand back down to the mat, coming into standing splits. Hands are on both sides of your right foot. Square your hips. Standing leg is the right leg. You're going to press into that foot and gently lift your left foot off of the mat, reaching the left leg back. Now it only needs to be about hip height. Just reach that foot back. Keep the leg active and flex the foot. Nice strength here. Slowly bring your left leg down, back to runner's lunge, hands on both sides of your front foot, your right foot. Then moving into high plank, step your right foot back to high plank. Press your hands into the mat, engage your belly, let your hips sink down so you've got a nice straight line in plank. Then press back slowly to downward facing dog. Take 3 full breaths in down dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to lift our left leg up to 3-legged dog. Reach it back, then bring it forward between your hands, setting up for high crescent pose. So find those nice wide legs. They can almost be as wide as your mat. Left knee bends, right toes are pressing into the mat. Reach your arms overhead. If you feel it all wobbly, take the legs a little wider. Reaching your arms up, your heart forward. Stay in this nice, strong pose. Such a good pose, using strength, using balance. A heart opener as well. Move into your twist. You'll twist to the left, reaching your arms out to a T. Look over your left shoulder. Legs stay exactly the same, so you're really pressing the ball of your right foot into the mat. That heel is off of the mat with a nice, strong leg. Come back to high crescent pose. Look down to the mat. Hands come to both sides of the front foot. Runner's lunge. Maybe up on your fingertips, maybe up on blocks. From runner's lunge, we'll twist again. Keep your right hand on the mat. Lift your left hand up, reaching up, and twist to the left. From runner's lunge, take your left hand back down. We're coming into high plank. Step your left foot back, high plank. Engage your belly. Let your hips drop gently so that you form a nice straight line. Then gently take your knees down to the mat for child's pose. Take the knees wide, sit your hips back, and just reset a little bit here. Find your breath. How are you feeling? So as we move through these standing poses, sometimes the breath speeds up. We move a little and then we reset. We come back to these restorative poses that allow us to check in with our body, check in with our breath. When you're ready, gently come out of child's pose. Look forward. Take your hands to the mat and then step your feet outside of your hands for Malasana or a goddess squat. So we're coming to the top of the mat. Your legs are about as wide as your mat. Bend your knees and sit back into your hips. If this is too much for your hips, you can sit down on a high pillow or a block. If this feels good, I want you to sit the hips back. You sit into your heels. Take your hands to heart center and spend several rounds of breath here. Maybe close your eyes. Your heels move toward the mat. Your tailbone is reaching toward your heels. You feel nice and grounded. We're going to take our left hand down to the mat and move into a twist here. So the right arm will reach up to the ceiling. Look to the right. You're twisting at your heart, reaching your head forward. And we'll gently twist to the opposite side. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand reaches up. Nice. And come back to center. Hands back to heart center. 3 more rounds of breath. Your elbows can be just inside of your thighs, pressing into the thighs, maybe deepening your inner thigh stretch a little bit. Gently take your hands to the mat. We're coming into a wide leg forward fold. So I mean, your legs are about hips width apart or as wide as your mat. Just gently stretch your legs out and draw your head toward your toes. Take your hands to opposite elbows. And then maybe sway from side to side. Let your head be heavy here. The back of your neck is long. So moving slowly can be gentle. It can also help us to find a little edge as well, holding these postures, finding our strength. When you're ready, slowly heel toe your feet together. We're moving our feet all the way together so big toes touch. We're moving right into a chair pose. So on your inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Sit your hips back, bending at the knees. Lengthen your tailbone toward your heels and stay here. Utkatasana, chair pose. Arms are about shoulder width, maybe a little wider to find a little more relaxation in the shoulders. From chair, let's twist. So we'll take the arms to a T again. Twist to the right. Look to the right. Keep sinking into your heels, into your hips. Then inhale back to center. Reach your arms overhead. And exhale over to the left. Twist to the left. Arms move to a T. Look over your left shoulder. On your inhale, come back to center. And exhale back into the fold. Keep the legs narrow this time. Your peace fingers could find your big toes. You could wrap your peace fingers around your toes. And then as you do, you lengthen your head forward on your inhale. As you exhale, bend your elbows and move them out and away from you. If this is too deep here, you could just reach toward your toes and fall into this forward fold. You can have a little bend in your knees as well. Again, stay here for a few rounds of breath. Inhale and exhale, fold a little deeper. If your peace fingers are around your big toes, release those. On your next inhale, we're coming back into our chair pose. You'll sit your hips back, reach your arms over your head, bending at the knees, Utkatasana. Then step your left foot back for warrior one. Right knee bends, your hips move toward the front of your mat, so you've got a nice wide stance. Warrior one, stay here. Your left foot is grounded on the mat. The pinky side of your left foot is pressing into the mat. So you've got just as much weight in your back foot as you do in your front. On your next inhale, take your hands to your hips. As you ground down a little here, I want you can keep your hands on your hips, or you can find a bind by interlacing your fingers behind your back. On your next inhale, you'll look up toward the ceiling. On your exhale, fold forward. Your right shoulder moves just inside of your right knee. And stay here. Humbled warrior. Every inhale lengthens your spine from your tailbone to the crown of your head, and every exhale takes you a little deeper into this fold. Now listen, we're going to unlace our fingers if you're in a bind. Press into your feet, come right up into warrior two. So pressing into the feet, you're going to windmill your arms out to a T. Right arm reaches forward, looking over your right fingertips. Right knee bends. The left leg is reaching back, and the toes are facing forward. You're lining up your front heel with the inside arch of your back foot. Warrior two. From warrior two, we'll move to reverse warrior. So reach your right arm back. Your left arm sits on your back leg. Nice stretch into your front side body. Then side angle, right elbow down to the front knee, and then reach your left arm up and over, reaching toward the front of your mat. So now you're stretching and lengthening in your left side body. When you're ready, look down at your front foot. Hands come to both sides of your front foot. Step your front foot back to high plank. And then press back to downward facing dog. Lengthening out, finding that upward V. Take 3 full rounds of breath. Inhale. Let's take an exhale out of your mouth. A little sigh. On your next inhale, look forward, bend your knees, step your feet between your hands. Come halfway up on your inhale and exhale to fold. Your next inhale takes you right back to chair pose. Reach your arms overhead, bend your knees, sit your hips back. Step your right foot back for warrior one. Left knee bends. Nice wide stance. Reach your arms overhead. Take the arms nice and wide to rest your shoulders toward your hips. Coming into our humbled warrior, hands at your hips, or find a bind by interlacing your fingers behind your back. Inhale, look up to the ceiling. Exhale, slowly fold forward, left shoulder inside of your left knee, and stay here, lengthening your spine on your inhale, and exhale to release and fold a little deeper. As you inhale, press into your feet. Let's unwind those arms, reaching them out into a T, warrior two. Front heel lines up with the arch of your back foot. Nice strong legs. Reach back for reverse warrior. Left arm reaches back, right arm finds your back leg. Inhale. Then exhale into your side angle. Left elbow down to the front knee. Reach your right arm up and over. Look down to your front foot. Take your hands to both sides of your front foot. Step back to high plank, and then hinging at your hips, press back to downward facing dog. When you are there, take your knees down wide to the mat. Sit back in a child's pose. Again, a time to restore, a time to reset. Forehead comes to the mat. Take your knees wide. Take some breaths. Maybe you bring a little movement to your hips here, just to keep them warm. Moving hips from side to side. Let this child's pose be nice and passive. So take a little bend to your elbows. Release your shoulders. Starting to settle in from our standing practice. And when you're ready, we're slowly coming up to seated. And once you're seated on your mat, extend your legs out in front of you. Lengthen your legs. Maybe you take the flesh out from underneath your sits bones. As you inhale, draw your arms over your head. As you exhale, we're going to fold forward actively here. So keep your chin away from your chest. Your heart reaches forward, and you reach your hands toward your toes. Maybe you just get to the tops of your shins. That's okay. Just stay here in this fold. As you inhale, you lengthen your crown of head to tailbone, your nice long line. As you exhale, you release the tension in your hips and the tops of your thighs, and you allow yourself to fold a little deeper. On your next inhale, come up to seated, bend your knees, plant your feet, take your hands behind your back, and so your fingertips are facing forward. We're coming into reverse table, another back bend. So press into your feet, press into your hands, and lengthen your tailbone toward your heels. You're pressing your hips up toward the ceiling. Now be aware of your neck. You can look up toward the ceiling. If you're comfortable, you can slowly open up your heart chakra, open up your throat as well, and reach your head back. Reverse table. Bring your chin back toward your chest. Slowly come back to the mat. Lengthen those legs out again. We're going to move slowly with our breath here. So Paschimottanasana with that forward fold seated. Inhale your arms up, and then exhale, fold into your fold. As you inhale, you come back up to seated. Plant your hands, plant your feet. Inhale, press up to reverse table. Then exhale, lower down to the mat. Extend your legs. Inhale your arms up. And exhale into your fold. Inhale, back up. Plant your hands, plant your feet as you exhale. And then inhale up to reverse table. Exhale, slowly lower down. Reach your legs out. Use your core. We're slowly rolling down to our backs on the mat. Once you're there, take your knees into your belly. Give yourself a little hug. That grateful hug, right? Then lengthen your left leg out on the mat. A spinal twist to the left. So bend the right knee. Your left hand takes the top of your right knee and guide your right knee across your midline over to your left side. Spinal twist. Keep both shoulders on the mat and look over your right shoulder. Bring the right knee back toward your midline. Have the left knee come in to join it, and then reach both feet up toward the ceiling for candlestick pose. Arms are at your sides. Let your feet be flexed, so you're reaching your heels toward the ceiling. You engage your belly a little bit here, so a little bit of it's an inversion to let the blood flow from your feet and your limbs back down to your torso. Nice work in our gentle class today. Linking our breath with our movement. We find some strength, we find some balance. Gently bend your knees, bring them back down toward the mat. We're going to lengthen the right leg now. Take the left knee and bend it. Right hand takes that knee across to the right side for your spinal twist. Look over your left shoulder. When you're ready, take the knee back over to center. Bring both knees in again. Now take them wide for a full happy baby. Your hands find the outsides of your feet, or maybe your peace fingers find your big toes. Draw your knees toward the floor. Bending elbows and knees. Rock a little from side to side. Maybe you find a little stillness here. Release your fingers from your toes or your hands from your feet and start to lengthen your legs out on the mat for the most important and juicy part of our practice, our Shavasana. So let your legs move to the corners of your mat, your hands to your sides. From your fingertips to your toes, you find peace and relaxation. Let your breath come to a natural pace. And take the next few minutes to be still in your Shavasana. If you'd like to spend a few more minutes or many more minutes relaxing in your Shavasana, please allow yourself to do that. If not, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring a little more awareness back to your mat by moving your head from side to side. Then stretch your arms over your head. Let your big toes touch. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. Draw your knees into your belly. One last grateful hug to yourself and to that person or thing that you thought about at the beginning of your practice, being grateful for that one thing today. Take that positivity and that love for that person and bring it to yourself as well. Let's roll over to your right or left side, whichever is most comfortable. Positivity creates more positivity, right? It grows. Slowly press yourself up to seated. Take your hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste.